12 teams, 12 ratings. If you've got a problem with me or him burying your football club, leave it in the comments. Welcome back to Fog Football. We're talking league, we're talking cup, we're talking Europe. My friends, we're going to go from bottom to the top of the league, and we're going to rate you between 0 and 10. How about those apples?
How about those apples indeed? It sounds like a good bunch of fruit to me.
It absolutely does. That was brilliant, wasn't it? A big bunch of fruit to me. Well, let's go to the tainted fruit, the fruit that's rotten. It's Heart of Midlothian, and you know what? Right? I'm not even going to be controversial. I'm giving it a 0. How about that? It couldn't have been any worse.
I'm not giving it a 0, man. 0's harsh.
Harsh?
I'm giving it a 1.
So 0.5 out of 10 for Heart of Midlothian.
Yep.
Right, you explain the 1, I'll explain the 0.
Well, I mean, it's not 8 defeats in a row in the league. You know, there is a draw in there. 2 draws, to be fair, especially one against Rangers, and you can't really knock it whenever you get a draw against one of the old firm. It's a decent result. It's a decent day at the office. It's a decent 90 minutes for sure. And so far on the last week of the European football, Hearts were the only team that actually, you know, did anything for Scotland in the coefficient. So I've got to factor that in. So, I mean, yeah, maybe a couple of positives in there. Plus, they did decide to get rid of Stephen Naismith, which was the correct decision. And since they've done that, they also picked up another point in the league against Ross County. So I can see positive signs. Also thought unlucky to lose to Aberdeen. Look, it's been a terrible start, but I'm not going to give it a 0.
Right, well, I'll give it a 0.
I'm sticking by my 1.
This is why it's a 0, right? They should have beat Rangers, because Rangers were absolutely awful, right? And don't worry, I'll flip it when I get to Rangers, right? So they got a point there. They win at the Cup against Falkirk. Falkirk had a great start to the season, right? But, you know, Hearts are supposed to, I mean, third biggest team in the country. They need to be winning cups. They can't even do that, right? Then in Europe, against Victoria Pleasant, they were absolutely awful against an awful team. Didn't even lay a glove on them across 2 legs, right? Dynamo Minsk, alright, fair play. You beat one of the worst teams in the Conference League 2-1. A team that barely scraped in. I mean, it scraped in with no legs across the line into the group stages, right? And then every other game in the league, playing awful. You know, it's such shite. It's like, well, if we showed a bit of effort in the second half, would have kept Naismith after the submitting game, and you want to give them anything higher than a 0?
I'm sticking by my 1.
No, it's a 0 every day of the week. You're talking about, well, they haven't lost 8 in a row. This is the third best team in the country last year. This is a team that's got a great squad. They're sitting rock bottom, and you want to give them a 1?
I think a 1's a poor rating.
Oh no, it is. Don't get me wrong. It's a 0. No, why it's a 0? Because I think a 0 is like unthinkable. We can talk about Aberdeen winning 7 games in a row in the league. No one, and I mean no one, thought Hearts would be 12, 8 games in.
No, I mean, I agree with that, but still, I think a 0's harsh.
Will any team top it? Let's find out.
I'm sticking by my 1, so that's a 0.5 for Hearts. Nice wee 0.5 there.
I don't think anybody's going to get worse than that.
Nah, it's been a shite start to the season. Let's move on. We'll talk about St Johnstone, 11th in the table. By the way, if you haven't guessed it, we're going in chronological order from bottom to top. Scottish Premiership, deal with it. So yeah, St Johnstone, 11th, 1 win, 1 draw, 6 defeats. Same amount of defeats as Hearts, only difference is they actually have won a game, unlike Hearts. Also made it to the same stage of the League Cup as Hearts did, albeit St Johnstone had to earn their way there, and Hearts kind of just automatically spawned there because of their performances last season in qualifying in the top 5 of the league. So yeah, St Johnstone, similar to Hearts as well, got rid of their manager. So, I mean, St Johnstone and Hearts are kind of in the same boat, but there's one big, massive difference. St Johnstone are expected to be battling relegation. Hearts certainly are not. So, as poor as St Johnstone have been and as low as they're doing, I don't think it's that bad of a start. And to be fair, I actually thought they were decent against Rangers in that cup game. So, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Plus, I do think they've had a pretty difficult start to the season fixture list wise, so you know, and they really should have beat Ross County as well. Look, points don't lie. They're on 4 points. I'm actually going to give them a 4 out of 10. I think they've been underwhelming, but I don't think they've been awful.
I'm going to give them a 4 as well. You know why? Because what else do we expect? I expect this.
No, I mean, they're one place higher than I thought they would be at this stage of the season.
And they've sacked Levine, which I think's gained them a point in my eyes.
I'm excited to see how this new manager will get on. He's planning on playing attractive, attacking football that will win the hearts of the fans. That's what he said. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
So we're agreeing on a 4. Up next, we've got Hibs, 10th in the league, 5 points. Out the cup, obviously. Not good.
Yeah, can you remember who put them at the cup?
Honestly, for the life of me, if I had to bet on it, who put them at the cup?
Did they even get into the... Did they even qualify out the groups?
Aye, they did.
Did they?
Who'd they get, though?
Who put them at the cup? I don't think they were in the quarterfinals.
No, they weren't.
Who put them at the cup?
Who put them at the cup? Was it Motherwell?
It's probably someone shit. Anyway, look, they got knocked out in the last Celtic.
Ah, it was Celtic.
Ah, it
3-1.
was Celtic, aye.
Good header, by the way.
Aye, and then it kind of fell apart. So, yeah, out the cup in the last 16. I think they were lucky actually to get through. They sneaked through in the end. Down in 10th place in the league again. 1 win to their name. 4 defeats. It's not going good for Davy Gray. I mean, they look decent against Rangers there, but I mean, a lot of teams look decent against Rangers.
I'm going to give Hibs a 4 as well. Because, right, they've played 1 game less than St Johnstone, so... But let's be honest, right? We're talking about Hibs and all this and all that. But they're in the you know, they're 3 points ahead of Hearts, who couldn't have had a worse start to the season. See Hibs, man, they should be up where 4th and 5th are. You know.
Yeah, I do have a game in hand, but there's no guarantee that they'll win that.
Yo, I think Davy Gray's been saved by the fact that Hearts are shite.
Yeah, I think, see if Hearts had the start of the season that Aberdeen have had, I don't think Davy Gray's there.
Yeah. So I'm giving them a 4.
I'll give them a 4 as well.
Right, up next we've got Kilmarnock.
Right, kind of hard to rate this because I do think they did alright in Europe and they had, good performance. Even at the games where they lost, I thought they played pretty well. However, there is no denying that they went their first 6 games in the league without a win, and that is just simply shocking. Now, we've heard the excuse that, Kilmarnock and St Mirren, they had the European... That, to me, is not good enough. Yes, being in Europe can hamper you a little bit, but I don't think it's just fair to go, Kilmarnock didn't win any of their opening 6 games, let's just put it down to Europe and that's it.
They lacked a lot of discipline as well.
A lot of red cards. They need to take some sort of responsibility. Now, they did win their last game in the league, and to be fair, they lost their first 3, but they are unbeaten in their last 4. And had they turned a couple of those draws into wins, they would be a lot higher up in this table. Even if they turned one of those draws into wins, they'd arguably be in the top half of the table. And they have a game in hand over some teams in front of them. So I do think that Kilmarnock are going to come good. I do think they'll still finish top 6. But it's not been a great start to the season. I'm going to give them a 5.
I'm going to give them a 6. Right? Because the European campaign was very good. I know they went out, but you know what? They went out against Copenhagen, right?
But they're getting better, aren't they? I mean, we can clearly see that.
Yes, so I'm going to give them... That's a 5.5. Up next with Dundee.
I believe since they got knocked out of Europe, they haven't lost a domestic game.
Aye.
I think the last 16 game, they got knocked out of the cup before they were knocked out of Europe. Am I right in thinking that?
Mm-hmm.
So they're unbeaten since they got knocked out of Europe.
Absolutely, right. 5.5.
And here, they might stay unbeaten after the next game.
So we're seeing a trend here. Hearts 0.5, St Johnstone, Hibs both 4s.
Yeah, the higher up the league you seem to be, the higher the score you get. But I mean, that might change when we get to a certain team.
Wonder who. Right, we've got Dundee in 8th.
Right, Dundee. I mean, kind of the opposite here. You talk about teams getting better. They are getting worse. And for me, it's probably down to Luke McCowan. I think you've got to factor that in. After 4 games, they had 1 win, 2 draws and a defeat, sitting on 5 points. Not bad. Since then, it's been 3 defeats in a row. It's not good.
Yeah, they're at the cup, obviously. I'm actually going to give them a straight down the middle, a 5.
I think a 5's fair.
There's no Europe. There's none of that. But they've been underwhelming for me. Luke McCown's a good player, but I don't think he should equal to the derailment of your team.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 5. At the end of the day, they're sitting in 8th place, and we have to be real here. It's Dundee. We can't. I don't think we should be expecting them to, just because they overperformed last year. I don't think we should be holding them to those kind of standards.
Absolutely.
And so they're still It's very close. Couple of wins in a row, you can go right up there.
Right.
So I'll give them a 5 right down the middle.
Ross County knocked out by the Spartans, but they do sit 7th in the league.
Yeah, Spartans, that was a really, really bad result, but they are sitting in 7th. Game in hand though, played over some teams, so you got to factor that in. 7 points after 8 games. They're averaging a goal a game, but they have conceded 14. For me, although I do believe Ross County are doing it, I'm going to give County a 6.
I'm going to give them a 6 as well. They're 5 points above 12th, which that's where they're going to try and avoid. And that's good at this stage of the season. I think a 6 is fair. Not really much more to say about them. They're just there.
I mean, they're just there. They're in the bottom half, but they're top of the bottom half, so fair play to them.
Right, St Mirren up next. 8 games played, 8 points, sitting 6th. Obviously, not as good as Europe as Kelly, but they're still alright.
Still decent performances, though.
Yeah.
You know, they got put out one round earlier than Kelly, but I think that they could have maybe got through to that playoff stage. A little bit unfortunate not to do so. But St Mirren, 8 points out of 8 games, averaging a point a game. It's been a mixed bag. You know, one week they look good, one week they don't look too good. They suffered 2 defeats in a row now. So
when I look at Motherwell and Dundee United, I feel that St Mirren should be up there. So I'm going to give St Mirren a 6.
I'll agree. They're sitting in 6th place. I'll give them a 6 as well. I mean, why not? Boom.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the league, man. Like, if Motherwell and Dundee United win their game in hands, God knows who they're against, right? Probably against some of the top 3, some big if. But it's like you're looking at 7 and 8 point gaps on the rest of the league.
You are.
Which is massive at this stage. Anyway,
Dundee United up next. Good start to the season.
Only losses against Rangers.
Only losses against Rangers, but I must throw a bit of a dampener here on Dundee United. They haven't really played the top teams yet. They haven't played Celtic, they haven't played Aberdeen, and they've played a really, really poor Hearts side that still had Stephen Naismith in charge. So, yeah, you know, the only real good team they have played is Rangers, and they lost that game. So, I think it's been a good start to the season, no doubt about that.
I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. You know, they're newly promoted, they sit 5th.
Unfortunate to get knocked out the cup as well. There was nothing in that game against Motherwell. They could have been going to Hampden. Yeah, you know what? 3 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat. I'll give them an 8. I'll give them an 8, but I think it's a generous 8. But then again, they're sitting on 12 points, so it's hard to say.
I wouldn't say it's that generous. Right, up next we've got Motherwell, sit 4th in the semi-finals of the cup.
A team some people thought would struggle, and you know what? They've not really.
I'm going to give them a 9, because what else would you expect from Motherwell? I mean, they're in the semi-finals. They're 4th in the league. I think Motherwell, honestly, have guaranteed themselves safety, along with Dundee United. It would take something mammoth at this point to go down.
Yeah, they've got a 9-point lead over St Johnstone already. That's going to be massive. For me, Motherwell, really good start to the season. Still in the cup. Could still potentially make a final. We don't really know. And they're doing good in the league as well. And they did lose a lot of key players in the summer there.
Yeah, so I'm giving them a 9.
Yeah, I'll give Motherwell a 9 as well. It's been a very solid start for them.
Highest rating so far.
Right, 3rd place we have Rangers. Now, they have won 3 league games in a row. Albeit, none of them overly impressive, but, you know, you have to win the games that are in front of you. Beating Dundee United by a goal, beating Hibernian by a goal, and then beating St Johnstone by 2 goals to 0. So, Rangers beginning to put some form together. Not great, though. Their passage through to the League Cup semi-final. I mean, game against St Johnstone wasn't great. Performance against Dundee, though, was pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably their best domestic performance this season.
I think we could have a massive disagreement here on ratings.
Right, is that Dundee game? Is that their best domestic performance?
I probably think the 6-0 against Ross County.
I thought Ross County had more chance. I thought Ross County were in that game, though. But Butland in the first half pulled off a couple of good saves.
Aye, but it ended 6-0.
Aye, but Ross County caused more problems than Dundee.
I actually disagree.
You think so?
See the Dundee game at 1-0, it was close. And then it went 2-0, and it was still close, then it went 3-0, it was over.
I think Butland had more to
Either
give.
way, right? The whole Ibrox. Just.
Well, I'm not going to factor in the stadium to the score, man. That's bullshit.
Well, I am.
But let's move into.
Well, I rated them earlier on my own feed, right?
Well, let's not give any spoilers.
Champions League, right?
Can we talk about that?
Champions League crashed out.
Can we talk about it?
They did kind of get screwed, right?
Aye, Dynamo Kiev, hefty sent off, never a red card. I was angry about that.
Aye, you were, weren't you?
Still a bit angry, to be honest. Don't like seeing Scottish teams get fucking screwed. Anyway, Dynamo Kiev turns out are not very good,
No.
but they looked no bad against Rangers, which was disappointing in the end. Rangers, that was toothless for Rangers, man. What a chance. I'm not saying they'd have won if they beat Dynamo Kiev, but they should have at least made it into the next round.
Yeah.
You know, I think they let themselves down there, big time. League, really shocking against Hearts. We're lucky to get a draw against Hearts, and we know how shite Hearts are now. I mean, at the start of the season, people thought that Hearts were the ones that dropped 2 points. But we've all seen it was Rangers that definitely dropped 2 points, because, I mean, Hearts, as bad as Rangers are, Hearts have been shite. So Rangers definitely dropped points there.
Yep.
Then got 2 wins before taking on Celtic, and I mean, it was a horrible game. Rangers started no bad, but after like 15 minutes, it was pretty much game over, done, finished, over. And then, I mean, that's it. They obviously, bounced back. They got 3 wins in a row. I don't think any of them have been overly impressive though.
No.
Crossing the line, just sneaking over the line.
Beat Malmo.
Good one against Malmo,
Leon.
but then Leon was a poor result. Overall, I mean, they've tasted defeat in Champions League. They've tasted defeat against their rival Celtic. They're still in this squad. I mean, they've only lost 2 games this season.
3. Kiev.
All right, 3 games. All right, it's not great. You know what? I'll give Rangers. It's not good, but I'll give them a 5.
Oh, a 5?
Aye.
I gave them a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10?
Aye.
Fuck. So you're at 3.5 then? That's your average?
Yeah, because
3.5 out of 10.
you know when I was doing it on my channel, I factored in the whole stadium situation. I factored in the fact that everybody's all the higher ups are leaving. It's like there's no idea what's going on. The transfer window for me was really poor.
So you think Rangers have had a worse season than everybody other than Hearts?
Yeah. We're 5 points behind Aberdeen.
Nah, well, Hibernian or what? Hibernian are 16 points
that's
behind
Hibs,
Aberdeen?
mate. That's Diddy Club Hibs.
Hibs would say they're the 3rd biggest club in Scotland.
They
would argue
what happened
that.
to 2 above them? Did they die or something?
What?
Don't answer that. Right, anyway, but in all seriousness, right, scud it in the Old Firm, put out the Champions League, playing pretty awful football. It looks like we're in the semi-final of the Cup as well, right? But I'm sorry, man. How can you give it a fucking 5?
Clement out then?
Yeah, I've been Clement out for a while.
Well, I'm not changing my opinion. I think it's a 5.
Don't worry. Yo.
No, but are we really going to sit here and say that 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss is a horrible result when you factor in that... Hold on. The draw was against... No, wait. You need to be fucking fairer here. The draw was at Tynecastle against the 3rd best team in Scotland, right? Regardless of what this table looks like. And the defeat was against the champions in their own background. Oh, come on. You're it's not a 2.
No, it is the ill prepared for the season stadium.
Give me CJ's number. I want to speak to the real Rangers fans. CJ Nova.
Clement's tactics are out the window.
Get me the happy clapper on the line. I want to see what he thinks.
Anyway,
Get me connected to the rabble. I'm not having this.
Right. Let's talk about Aberdeen.
Right, let's talk about Aberdeen. Right, into the semi-finals of the League Cup. Haven't never mind lost it. They haven't not won a game since Jimmy Teeling came in. It's 100% record, whether it be the Scottish League Cup or whether it be the Scottish Premiership. They're in a title fight. They're level with Celtic on points. They could be cup winners in a couple of months' time. For me, it is a perfect 10, and if they can win their next domestic game, I'll give them an 11. Simple as that.
An 11 for Teeling. It's a 10, right? And I don't care who you support. If you can't admit that Aberdeen's had a 10 out of 10 start, I don't give a shit who they've played. They've beat what's in front of them, and that's more than what some teams have done. So,
See if you're not called Celtic or Rangers and you start the season with 7 wins out of 7.
13 wins out of 13, by the way.
And you're in the League Cup semi-final and you've won every game you've played. It's a 10 no matter who you are.
Yes.
It's a 10.
Well, yeah, not much more to say about Aberdeen, is there? I mean...
No, it's a perfect 10. Jimmy Teeling, congratulations to you. And I hope he continues it, especially the next game.
Right, now let's turn the bitterness up to 100 and talk about Celtic Football Club. And you know what? Right? See if they drew or beat Dortmund, I'd say it's a 10. But they get scud at 7-1, so for me, it's a 9.
Yeah, that's a blemish, isn't it? It really is.
No, yo, see if you're trying to claim that Celtic had a good a start to the season as Aberdeen after that Dortmund game, you're kidding yourself.
Now here, I'm not under the illusion that Dortmund wouldn't beat Aberdeen 7-1. That could very easily happen. But
why?
But the fact is, Celtic are the ones that played Dortmund and Aberdeen haven't.
Why?
Now, if Aberdeen, and as harsh as this sounds, if Aberdeen were in the Champions League and they played Dortmund, I wouldn't be giving Aberdeen a 10. I can't give a team a 10 if you lose 7-1.
Yep.
Probably give them like a 9.5 or something, but still. Nah, Celtic, I think the last 3 games have looked ropey. Great start to the season, phenomenal start to the season. And if we did this video 10 days ago, for me, they would be getting 100%.
Well, if we did this 10 days ago, Dortmund would have still beat them, mate.
Well, when did they play?
Fuck it, was Tuesday, 1st of October.
Alright, if we did this 14 days ago, is that alright?
Aye,
Is that maths better?
I'll do, aye.
If this was done 14 days ago, I think Celtic's getting a 10.
Yes.
Because not only have they done everything that Aberdeen's done, they've done it in more convincing style. And they've got a Champions League
Put
win.
it this way, right?
You know, and they've got a big win against Slovan Bratislava.
We wrapped up a video about who's the biggest. See, if you're a big club and you get beat 7-1 in a season, your season can't be 10 out of 10.
No.
Now, if you're a Dundee club, like Hibs, for example, and you've won every game but one game you get beat 7-1, I could maybe make an exception. But see, for big clubs, I think you've got to hold them to different standards. So if you lose 7-1 in a game, regardless of who the opponent is, that's taking a point off your score. So it's a 9. Deal with it.
I agree, it's a 9. It's a 9.
No, do you know what I mean, though?
It's close to a 10, but not quite.
You know what I mean? You've got to hold clubs to different standards.
So we're putting Aberdeen top with a 10 and then Celtic Motherwell in second with a 9.
I think that's fair.
I agree, that's fair.
I can't wait for people to start flooding in with their tears.
No, that's fair enough.
The two better Huns here have got an average rating of 0.5 and a 3.5.
And we gave Celtic a 9, but somehow we're better.
We're better. Fucking better, aren't we? Oh.
Damn.
Anyway, guys, that is it. This has been fun. Maybe we'll redo this in the next international break because Steve Clark will have drove us off the edge. So until next time, your thoughts down below, and peace.